Hey everyone, it's Kelsey. You can find me at Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. Just look up Kelsey Franks. And all of my information is at my website, www.kelseyfranks.com.
And by the way, it seems that she's the only Kelsey Franks in the whole freaking damn world. Yeah, I can't. There's
so easy to find.
Kurt Johnsons out there. And I'm Kurt, of course, over at New World All-Star Twin Flame on YouTube. You can check out my website, twinflameallstar.com. And then there's also my Facebook group, New World All-Star Twin Flame. Check us out. So today, what we'd like to talk about is how to communicate with your spirit guides and how to know when you are communicating with your spirit guides. And I'll just kind of set it up, and then I think we'll just start talking and we'll just kind of go from there. But what I like to tell people is it's not a question of who does God talk to, and it could be, you can look at it however you want. And there is, I believe, different places that you can get downloads from, information about the future or whatever, just knowledge or inspiration or wisdom, right? Information, communication. It can come directly from God, also known as source or the universe, whatever word you want to pick. But there's also intermediaries. There's your spirit guides. Some people like to think of them as guardian angels. If you don't want to worry about which one am I talking to, you don't have to. If just know there's a higher power and that you're receiving downloads from it is all you need to do. If you want to split it off from there, go for it. But what I like to tell people is any of these sources, I'll just call them spirit. Spirit, who does spirit talk to, right? Everybody's, well, how do I know if spirit is talking to me? Well, it's not really a question of who does spirit talk to. It's a question of who listens, okay? And you just have to know how to tell when spirit is talking to you, your spirit guides or God directly, whatever. And I always think of something I read a long time ago in that book, Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. And it said, you know that you're getting a message from God when it's a message of joy, truth, or love. And then beyond that, and I believe this is something we're going to touch on today too, is you can be given telepathic, psychic information about future events. That is a thing. And how to tell when that's happening. And I also have kind of a neat exercise that I'll share with people so that you can hone that and sharpen it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's about being in a receptive mode. As if anyone knows Abraham Hicks, she talks about being in the receiving mode. And like, that's why we have bypassed connecting with our guides for so long, because we are in that, you know, that 3D mentality where we have these belief systems that block us from even being able to be receptive enough to believe that it's possible to have a guide. A lot of people believe in God, but not in the spiritual sense. They believe it in the religious sense. And there's a huge difference between religion and spirituality.
Yes.
And you have to be open to it.
And let me just interject something, just so that people, I guess, know what the difference is. Religion, typically, and I don't have anything against most religions, almost all of them, whatever. If you want to do that, that's great. If that works for you, no problem. But the difference is, religion basically is kind of telling you, well, you got to go through us. We're the intermediary between you and God. You cannot communicate directly with God. And spirituality is telling you, no, just go straight to the source. You can. You can.
Right. They're allowing you to come into your own internal power instead of making it a control thing. Like, you have to follow this list to be a part of this group. And then once you have different religions, that creates separation and this duality when we're all really just trying to come together. So we can drop religious labels and all that and recognize that we're all one. That's when true connection can happen. But we have to believe that. We're stuck in our old belief systems.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna, I guess, echo what you were saying, which is that it's all about belief systems. That's how you can tell the difference between the two. And we're not dogging religion. It's just that what they do is they have rules and doctrine, and here's how you have to approach God, and you have to do it through this third party. And there's all these rules that you have to follow to get to enlightenment or heaven or whatever it is. And you're not allowed to take part in the creative process with God.
Yeah.
You can't talk directly to God. You have to go through us.
The middleman.
Again, spirituality, there's not really rules. There's not rules. It's how things work. It's like, does the bus run when you put water in the gas tank? No, the bus runs when you put diesel in the fuel tank.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what spirituality is saying is, well, yeah, there's an infrastructure. There are principles. For example, you are the universe. You are connected to it. There is that, but that's not really a rule. It's just
what is.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Whereas with religion, it's, well, you can't do these things, you can't say these things. And I mean, I've spoken to people, I have students where they've told me stories about, like, they would be receiving downloads straight from source, and they would say all these things, or they would be talking about things that were going to happen in the future. And people in the church were just like, whatever. And then the things that they said were going to happen happened.
Yes.
And then it was like, oh my God, that's the devil. You've been taken over by the devil.
Funny story about that is The Simpsons. How the guy who made The Simpsons, he had episodes where he predicted things that were going to happen in the future. So there's this huge conspiracy going around that he is a time traveler, when really maybe he was
I've
just
heard of that.
So maybe he astral traveled through meditations, got visions, and was able to predict. Crazy things like that happen. I wish I could think of something.
Wasn't there? This might.
On YouTube.
Yeah, just going. I don't want to say. There's a couple of them that really stand out. You guys.
Whoa, yeah.
Let's not get into it here, but yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Just a funny example. But what I was gonna say is that even with religion or anything that divides us. So like I was watching a video about how eating differently and like veganism versus meat eaters and all that stuff, and it's about how you believe. So like if you're vegan and you're judging somebody who eats meat, it's that belief system that's holding your vibration down because you think you're doing the right thing. Everything is about belief systems. Belief systems hold you back from your connection with source. That's how this relates to like spirit guides and stuff, because what you believe has everything to do with whether you're going to be able to connect, because things can really.
I grew up in the country, and in the 1980s, and when I was a kid, my dad would take me. There's this truck stop that had like a little breakfast diner, and you'd see farmers in there on a Sunday morning. And you could still smoke in the restaurant in those days. And man, those guys smoke a pack of Pall Mall unfiltered a day. And they're all eating like the worst cholesterol-laden food and like whole milk and just like slab of butter and like a bunch of eggs and meat and like processed. And you know what I'm saying? Like those guys, like the old school, like you think of a farmer, and he's all wrinkly and his skin's all leathery. You know what I'm talking about, right? But here's the thing. The guy believed that if he worked hard every day, he would live a good, long life. And those guys worked their tail off, man, out in the fields all day, those guys. And they lived to be 100 freaking years old, smoking a pack of non-filter Pall Malls.
That's such a good example.
How do they do it?
Because they believed it. Yes. Yes.
Now, I'll just work hard every day. I'm going to live a good, long life. It's clean living. That's what happened. They live forever.
It's law of attraction too. Let's bring that to law of attraction. What you believe, you're attracting more of that into your life. So they believed that they were healthy because they were out there sweating in the fields. They thought meat was great for them. They thought all these things.
Right.
Whether or not, I don't know.
It was good, wholesome food to them.
Yes.
That was good, wholesome food. And the smoking was just, I mean, back then, guys, the older generations, smoking was like, they didn't even give it a second thought. Like, that it was bad for you wasn't even, it was just what you did. People smoked. People smoked in fucking Kmart.
What? I don't remember that.
Like, they smoked everywhere. So it wasn't even that. They really thought they were like living the good, wholesome, clean life. Yeah. And that they would live a long time for it.
And they did.
They did.
Because they
Those guys were old. Yeah.
But they probably weren't tapping into their spirit guides. But maybe they were. I'm not going to judge. But you know what I'm saying? It's not about that, though. It's about the fact that what you believe is what you receive.
Right. Hey, I like that.
Yeah, right.
You believe what you receive.
I probably stole it from somewhere. Don't ask me where, though. But anyways, back to connecting. How do you connect, Kurt? How do you connect with your guides?
Well, one exercise that I started with and I've always had things happen all throughout my life that were unmistakably clairvoyant experiences, and up to and including being given dates, like specific dates, on this day this thing will happen, and then it fucking happened. And maybe a handful of times, 8, 9, 10, 11 times in my whole life, up until I met my twin flame. And naturally, and this doesn't happen to everybody, but it does happen to a lot of people when they meet their twin flame. It triggers your ascension, and all kinds of shit starts happening. And all the gifts that I already had just were intensified and were shown to me. And one of the things, so instead of, I had maybe 10 types of those clairvoyant experiences over the course of my life up to that point. Now it's like 10 a day.
Yeah, right.
When I met my twin and the whole triggering thing started, and I felt all kinds of weird energy shifts, I would just carry a piece of lapis lazuli in my pocket, first of all. And I like it because it's blue, but that's a way, like lapis is like metaphysical ascension. It'll help keep things just generally clean and clear. So that's one thing that I did. But also an exercise that I did that helped was, and you can do this, you don't have to meet your twin flame to do this. Anybody can do this. There's a book that I own called, what is it called? Developing Your Psychic Abilities by April J. Douglas. And it's April with a Y, April, right? And something in there that she talked about was just like in the morning when I would wake up, I'd be laying in bed, and don't even get out of bed. Don't start thinking about anything. Don't do anything. I would just lay there quietly and just listen to whatever's going on in here. And it works especially well right when you wake up, because you're still in that kind of like 25% asleep state. So your awareness, your consciousness is kind of expanded in that greater intuitive dimension. And I would just listen for messages. So this is what I did to just kind of intentionally enhance my clairvoyant gifts. And you listen to whatever's going on in your mind. And there's chatter that's yours. And then there's other things that you hear. It's like there's another voice.
Yeah.
That you know it's not your internal voice. And sometimes it's very loud. Another thing would be dream symbols when I was laying there. Again, just 10, 15 minutes right when you wake up, guys, to do this exercise. And dream symbols, I would be given, and I've always been big into like dream interpretation. And so I know a lot about different dream symbols, and I would be communicated with using dream symbols. They would give me information in that way by giving me dream symbolism, or they would give me dates, or I would see a picture of a scene of something that was about to happen.
Yeah.
or I would ask a specific question and I would be given a date. And it happened so much, it started happening so much that I started emailing myself on this date, I think this thing is going to happen. And then it would happen.
Yeah.
And that was kind of how I got the ball rolling, was just to do that exercise just for 10 minutes in the morning. And another thing that I would start doing is I would just talk to them, to my spirit guides. I would just act as if they're there, because they are. It's not a matter of who do they communicate with, it's a matter of who listens. And I would just receive messages from them from every place. In here, the world around me, I would see numbers, or it would be something that somebody would say to me at a specific time. I'd be thinking about something. This is, you guys will think this is interesting. Right before I was thinking about quitting my day job, which was a month ago or so, but maybe a month and a half. And I was like, I've never done this before, and is this really going to work out with my YouTube channel? And I don't know, it's not like I'm making a lot of money, but I could pay my bills doing this. And I'm all having this debate in my head about, should I do it? You know, and then right as I walk up to my car and I'm having these thoughts, this piece of paper was on my windshield, just totally at random.
I love that.
And it says, you're a badass. And and I was thinking about, should I just cut back my hours and just go to part-time at my job? And maybe I'll just, like, instead of going, and what I should have done, and I did do this, but what I should have been right off the bat telling myself is, oh, I should just quit and just do this full-time, just quit that job. But I was trying to play it safe. And so I said, well, maybe I'll just go part-time. And I even had a talk with my manager about going part-time. And so this was the conversation going on in my head as I was walking up to my car. And it says, you are a badass. Instead of looking to where you can cut back, cut my hours. Instead of looking to where you can cut back, save, and play it safe, look to how you can expand, grow, and start acting like a badass who's in control of your own life.
Kurt.
That's all it said.
Right before you said that, I was like, I knew I just had got to download. The next thing I was going to say was, oh, I just lost it. It's going to come back. Keep going.
It'll come back.
Yeah.
But this was on my windshield right as I was having that thought process. And it was in a huge parking garage. Nobody I know parks there. I don't know anybody that parks there. This was completely random. Also, this says Wednesday, February 6th. This was in like the end of April.
Yeah.
Somebody just saved this and decided to randomly put it on somebody's windshield. Like, oh, I want to do a good deed for the day and leave a nice message for somebody. And it just happened to be in alignment with what I was thinking about. And there were lots of other signs too.
You know what that remembered, Kurt? Okay. You and your chatter in your mind about your job is your ego trying to keep you safe, because that's what our ego does. It tries to keep us safe. It puts us in this little safety net. And then your higher self came through, your guides came through with that message like, no, you know what to do here. And that's beautiful.
Stop looking where you can cut back, save, and play it safe.
And when you said play it safe, I was like, that's hilarious.
And that's just one example. That's just one. Like, stuff like that happens all the time. And what's strange is the more that you listen to the messages around you and within you, the more that happens. And I've had it come through in my third eye. I've had like this sense of knowing in my heart. I don't know how else to describe it. It's not something you hear even in the chatter that's in here or see around you. You just know. I don't know how. You just know something is going to happen and when it's going to happen, and it fucking does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's what I was getting at. Any of these things that you're doing, any of these techniques, it all comes down to trust.
Yes.
Trust that it's real.
Yeah, it's faith. It's believing in the unseen. And the more that you believe, the more they will show you. And you will see. And
Yes.
that's everybody doesn't want to believe it until they see it, but you can't see it unless you believe it.
Once you start seeing the ways that they communicate with you, it starts happening more and more and more over time.
Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, I still see numbers all the time. I keep seeing 44 or 444. Yesterday I got 4444.
Yeah.
Like, I sent you that screenshot. I just logged on to YouTube, just the main YouTube page, and right there, because I watch your videos so much, here's a suggested video you could watch. One of them was one of your videos, and it said 144 views, and I was like, there you go.
Of course. And that's just how, you know what helped me too, was when I'm driving and stuff, verbally, or because I'm alone when I drive a lot of times. So that's the perfect time to like talk out loud, because you know nobody's going to hear you talk, guys. And I started practicing that. And the more I did, I was like, I would get playful. So they'd show me something and I would like laugh about it and like prove it. Like I would literally just be so like free, not caring, not judging myself. Like losing the judgment of yourself and your thoughts is so crucial, because you're gonna judge yourself, because we've been programmed to think that we have to see things before we believe them.
And it's okay to talk to them.
Yes. Yeah. So
people
for me,
pray to God.
Yeah.
Why can't you? And here's the thing, like, you don't think God talks to everybody. Wait a minute, it's God. God can do whatever it wants. If God wants to talk directly to you, it can.
Exactly.
Of course it can.
For me, it's very similar though. When I receive messages, I just know something, or all of a sudden I'll think a thought and I know it's not mine. I know for a fact, because I would have had to get on Google or something to know this. Like things that are that significant. And then some things are subtle. And that's when you really have to get out of the way, get out of your own way, drop the chatter, and like, okay, where did that come from? And then that's where you know, like, okay, where does this resonate with me? How do you feel about this thought? Does it feel good? Like, does it feel off? If it's off, it might not be that. You have to learn discernment when you're dealing with guides.
That takes a certain level of wisdom, but I mean, you could just say it just takes a certain level of practice. You just have to believe and trust in this process. And again, why wouldn't you believe that God or your spirit guides, or however you want to look at it, why wouldn't you believe, at minimum, we'll just say God. Why wouldn't you believe that God could talk to you? Of course it can. Of course it can. So yes, believe and trust. Believe and trust. And it all starts there. You have to trust and believe that God is talking to everybody all the time.
Yeah, for sure. It's so funny you said you were talking about in the morning, doing it in the morning when you first wake up. Your vibration is naturally at a higher rate when you wake up in the morning, because like you said, you're still in that in between, which is the same state they put you in when they do hypnosis or like past life regression, all that kind of stuff. And the funny thing about that, my twin, he had been awake since a childhood. He would, and when he sees most of his incidents where he sees like entities and stuff, he actually sees them in the room, physical bodies standing in front of him, like to that level. It's when he's waking up in the morning. And you'll hear online, if you ever listen to stories of people that encounter entities, a lot of times they're just waking up. And it happened a lot for him as a child, because children are more receptive. They have less belief system programs holding them down. But the point of the matter is if you want to connect, definitely do it laying in bed in the morning when you first wake up. Also, there's so many guided meditations to connect with your spirit guides for free. Check out, they work for me. They really did.
Yeah.
So that's the point.
And of course it works. And everything about this centers around faith. And even people who are a part of a conventional religion, who really get the concept of faith, they manifest miracles all the time. You do see that in those circles, like praying for a miracle to take place maybe there's a loved one that's sick or something like that.
Yeah.
That's a thing. That's a thing. We talked about this in a recent video, my friend Veronica and I, and she reminded me of this old saying, if you have but the faith of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. And it's true. Yeah. You just, and it's not crazy to say this, guys. It's okay to believe that God can talk to you. Again, what makes you think God couldn't? Of course, it just seems so logical to me. Like, why wouldn't you believe that?
Well, you get to the point
to the next level.
Yeah, you get to the point where God is actually talking through you. And I'm glad you brought up religion, because it wasn't all off. Not all of religion was off. And I wasn't even going to bring this up because I'm still getting comfortable with the idea. I have this one gift coming online, and the reason how I discovered it was one night, I'm sleeping, my twin's next to me, and it's the middle of the night, and all of a sudden I just like wake up and I had this bad dream, and he's like looking at me like, are you okay? He looks freaked out. I'm like, yeah, I just had this bad dream. I was ready to go back to sleep. The next morning, he's like, he just wanted me to go back to sleep because he didn't want to like tell me what happened. I was like, what was wrong with you last night? Why were you looking at me like that? And he's like, you were literally speaking a different language in your sleep.
Oh, you're like speaking in tongues.
It was light language, and I didn't even know what light language was. And when I went online, I was giving him examples. I was like, did it sound like this? Did it sound like this? Like, I wanted to know what it was. I was freaked out because I didn't know what it was. I'm just becoming open to the idea that I might have that gift. And I was just like, and it is correlated with speaking in tongues and religion. And I was just like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. People on YouTube speaking light language and activating people. And I'm just like, okay, guys, can we slow down a little bit? Because, this
makes me think of the creative process. And this is one example of that. Like, I'll look any place for information. Okay. It could be politics. It could be religion. It could be YouTube. It could be books. It could be finance, anything, any place about any topic. And I'm always looking, there's a lot of, it's like when you play with Legos. Okay, I got a big box of Legos, dump them out on the floor. It's a big mountain of Legos. And there's one little tiny piece that I know is in there somewhere because I've had these fucking Legos since I was a little kid, and I know I have this one.
Yeah.
To find it. And it's like that. And that pile of Legos represents one religion. And then there's another pile over here that's another religion. And I look through all these different places for nuggets of truth, and I put all these things together. You extrapolate the nuggets of truth from all these different places, and you assemble the picture of truth, and you know what the truth is.
Yes.
It just resonates. You just know. The truth of God is always going to, like, how do you know when God is talking to you? It's a message of joy, truth, or love.
Yep.
You know that's when God's talking to you. And part of the creative process is you look for information from lots of other places, and you assemble your own idea about what's true for you or what you believe. And you can actually find there's a lot of things that are hidden from society at large. There are people that want to hide certain information from you, and it's almost impossible now with the internet. But you can still extract these things. You don't have to find the one teacher that's the correct teacher or has the correct message. You can figure it out on your own.
Yes.
Just take Twin Flames, for example. You and I did.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I'm a digger. I was a history major in college. Like, I am naturally like, I will do anything to figure out the answer to my question, and I will be receptive and open-minded. So I want to see every single point of view.
Right.
And whatever resonates with me, that's what I'm going with. And then you build and build and
build. You build, right. You keep having epiphanies, and then
that's the work. Right.
That's called the work. You don't have to have one particular person that teaches the truth. You can get the truth from all kinds of different places. Places where even what they're saying, most of it is inaccurate, but maybe there's one thing that they say that you go, oh, that's a good point. And you take that and you take from over here. It kind of makes me think of, do you remember in the 80s and the early 90s, rap music, how they would like Public Enemy, like Terminator X, the DJ for Public Enemy, he would take like 50 samples, unlike some of these newer guys where they take one guitar lick from a song and just loop it and rap over it. No, they took a bunch of shit and they made something new out of it. And then they also added their own beats to it too.
Yes, yes. And
it's
that's
like
so true. That's why you have to be open. That's why you can't, that's why like our biggest issue, and I think in society, is judgment. We're so quick to judge because we're attached to the belief systems. We have to detach from belief systems, open to all perspectives, and that way we can let everything that resonates with us come in, and then we can grow and evolve.
Now, here's where we're going with this, just so that everybody's clear about why we're talking about this leg of this conversation. This is where intuition comes in, because you use your intuition to know which nuggets of truth you've taken from all these different places to know what is true and how to fit them all together. And you keep leveling up again and again and again, establishing new paradigms for yourself, having new epiphanies all the time. That's intuition, is knowing when and how and what to assemble on your own. And two, that's the creative process.
Yes. And the more you build, the easier it gets. With each program you let go of, the more receptive you are, the more you're like, oh, that's definitely a sign. That was definitely a message I just received. The more sure of yourself, the more things that will come to you that will make you even more sure of yourself. It's the law of attraction. It's really like you'll get to a point where it's easy. You won't even have to ask people for help anymore because you know where to get it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's like peeling away the layers of an onion too, because what you're doing is you're letting go of that programming. It's not, and I tell this to my students all the time, well, this is a retraining. I tell them that. It's a retraining. And then after maybe they have some breakthroughs or something, or I have my Twin Flames online video course that people can watch. And then after they're done, they talk to me. Well, during the online course, I tell them it's a retraining. But then when they talk to me, I go, well, now, here's the thing. It's really an untraining. And they go, oh, you're right. It is an untraining.
To unlearn for everything. You have to unlearn what you've been taught so you can resonate with what you really believe.
Anybody can sit there and watch videos just like this one on YouTube all day, and there's some very good ones out there from a lot of different people that talk about stuff just like this. But as long as you look at it like it's this big daunting task, like I have this new philosophy that I have to learn, it's not going to work. You have to recognize that it's not that you're learning a new philosophy, it's that you're unlearning conditioning. This is all about freedom, you guys. This is about standing naked and without having systems or judgments about anything. You just look at things, and whatever is truth, you just know it. And you trust that you are powerful enough to do that, and that the universe, God, your spirit guides, will bring you to the truth all the time. It's an untraining. You're getting rid of patterns. It's not that you're learning something new when you watch these types of videos. You're letting go of those old patterns.
You're remembering things you already knew, because we already know everything, right?
Yes.
So you just have to tap into that infinite knowledge that everyone possesses. And you can do that by raising your vibration, coming into alignment, and meditating, and doing the things that you have to do to receive that keener sense of intuition. And then you connect effortlessly, and you'll know what it is. It'll just come to you. Like, it's not there is no to-do list here. It just is
At the beginning, maybe you could come up with a to-do list to kind of get you on the correct path.
A guide.
Once you got a little bit of momentum, you let those training wheels go.
Yes, exactly.
That's why twin flames are so neat, because your twin flame, like everybody that I talk to, and sometimes I question, does this person really meet their twin flame? And, I don't want to say anything because it's not my place to judge. But other times when I'm talking to people, I'm like, for sure.
Yes.
Gotta be. And it's almost always when this person was forced onto a spiritual path by their twin flame journey, by their twin flame experience. And that's the whole thing. Your twin flame should force you onto that path in whatever form it comes.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to look any certain way either. There's another mistake or a trap that some people get wrapped up in is, oh, I have to be patchouli wearing, Subaru driving, granola crunching, dreadlocks sporting, you know, whatever, some spiritual person. No.
Fit in a box.
What's that?
You have to fit inside this box of what being spiritual is. There is no box. You know, that is the whole point of twin flames. That's why you see twin flames that are different races, different huge age gaps, huge everything.
Always with age gap.
So, what is love? What can we start getting rid of all these programs? We're supposed to reflect. That's why light workers, that's what they're supposed to. You don't have to be a twin flame. As a light worker, you're supposed to show how life can be different, not how we can all still fit in the same box or be a part of a clique. There is no, that immediately creates separation between us and people who aren't light workers. We're all one. You know what I mean?
I do. I made a video about this a long time ago. I say a long time ago. It was, I don't know, 8 or 9 months ago when I was still kind of starting my YouTube channel. And I think it was called I Am a Twin Flame Asshole, something like that. And it's still on my channel somewhere. If you scroll, you can find it. But I just talk about the fact of, wait a minute, how do you know that a middle America, meat and potatoes, red state, truck driving, beer drinking, whatever, working type blue collar person, how do you know they're not spiritual?
Oh, you don't. You don't. And you're judging if you judge. If you judge, you're like, you're bringing that onto yourself. When you judge others, they're going to judge you. And you don't know what
you could be a lowrider driving gangster whatever type, and there's people that are of that clique that are like, you know, nice people. They're not criminals or anything. They just like that kind of style or whatever. And there's a lot of them. I dare say the majority of them are like that. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why this is. I don't know if this is a thing or not, but every time I've had an encounter with this type of clique, we have some deep conversations.
Yes, there are way more ways.
Individuals out there of any stripe of life.
You want to know why I think that is, Kurt? Because what is unique about those people and what they're doing? They're doing things that they love. So they're probably more aligned than the average person who's working in a desk at an office or doing whatever. They're out actually raising their vibration. Like, you cannot, okay, that was another thing that I had mentioned in one of my past videos, is that don't ever assume that your twin or whoever is not doing the work or isn't spiritual, or don't assume anyone isn't spiritual, because doing the work for you and doing the work for them could be two totally different things.
Looks
like
totally different.
Joy, you know?
I tell that to my students all the time. Like, well, what if my divine masculine isn't ascending, and don't they need to go through their ascension? And I go, okay, first of all, you're not separate.
Yes.
You're literally the same soul. Yeah, you're both going through your ascension. Theirs just looks different.
Yep.
That's all. Yep. And anyway, are you having an ascension experience? Yes. Was it not triggered by your twin flame's actions? Yeah. Well, don't you see the perfection then?
Well, one thing you have to connect to, if you're not in vibrational resonance with your twin, like with your twin, is not your twin. So if it really is your twin, then they have to be vibrating at a certain rate, which means they are in some way doing their work at the same level that you are. So if they're not like getting their shit together, well, then neither are you. You know what I'm saying? And that it makes sense. And
you can't really, and the strange paradox about that is you're not even looking at the 3D stuff anymore, and everything just kind of falls into place. You're yin and they're yang. One is light and one is dark. Yeah, maybe their actions are things that used to trigger you, but you're not triggered by them at some point. We would hope that everybody would evolve at some point. And then you start to notice changes in them, changes in you, and these things are all happening at the same time. They just look different than what you think they should look like, because that's conditioning. Oh, it has to be XYZ fit in this box.
Yeah, it's expectations at the end of the day. Like, if you live in the moment, it's impossible to have expectations about anything. Anything whatsoever. So like, I'm open to the idea of moving to this city. I'm open to the idea of doing this or that or what. There's a million different potentials. And as soon as you have an expectation, you have one potential to work with. How limiting is that? How limiting is that when the universe has millions of ways this could turn out to your highest good? Like, really exciting shit you can't even think of because the universe has that in store for you. Like, let go of expectations. That's
the universe can do anything.
Anything. Times infinite.
I was just watching a law of attraction video about this yesterday morning, and the guy was talking about all possibilities exist right now. You just have to accept that.
Yes.
And here's another thing that I was talking about, actually, just in one of my card reading videos. I'll give some coaching and advice even during my card readings. And it's that you set a goal, and it's fine to set goals. You just have to accept what happens. If you don't get what you wanted, you just say, it's perfect, it's happening the way it's supposed to, I accept this, there must be a reason for it, it's fine. And you can try again too, but always accepting whatever outcome you're getting. Okay, so let's say you have a goal, and what you think is the outcome, you see it coming down the pike towards you, and it's looking like something else. You're going to get something else that you didn't really want. And maybe it's not even a bad thing, it's just unexpected. And then that thing finally shows up in your reality, and then boom, there's a turn, and then you got what you wanted.
Yes.
That's happens
faith. Faith.
All the time. Your desires can manifest to you in ways that you don't expect. And then when you look back, you're like, wow, that was so perfect.
Yes.
How did the universe do that? Well, I don't know. It's the universe.
Yeah. And that's the thing, Kurt. You have to be malleable with the universe. You have to flow. You have to be open to anything. And like, the only thing that was going to make you disappointed is an expectation. Because when your faith is on high alert, if something crappy comes into your experience, you can be like, I know the universe has something good for me right around the corner. I ain't even sweating this. And you just sit there and let it coast on by. It's just alignment. It's all it is.
It's all it is. And it starts, the first step, always, trust, which is another way to say believe, and acceptance. You accept what is. And anyway, how can you change the way things are if you don't accept the way they are first?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
There's no other way.
Yeah, just be.
There's
so much power in that.
That's really, I think, the key to all of this. I mean, we've gone on so many tangents, but we started out talking about intuition and how to talk to your spirit guides, basically. But all these things go together. They all do. You can't leave anything out. And it always comes back to the same thing: belief, trust, right? And acceptance. And when you're, say, doing the nuts and bolts day-to-day work of, for example, laying in bed and listening, you trust whatever messages you're getting. That's so key to this, is to have that faith that you are getting downloads, and you're going to know the difference if you just do it long enough. You just got to keep untraining yourself.
Yeah. The deprogramming is huge because it's those beliefs that hold you back. It really is. And
again, I pointed this out, was it in this video or the last one? Whichever one it was. When your mind is talking at you, you don't have to listen to that.
Yeah.
The limiting beliefs and the old fear-based patterns, you don't have to listen to that. start a new story.
You always have a choice. And that's what I tell people. You always have a choice on how you're going to perceive a situation.
Mm-hmm.
Always. You can either take the path with resistance or the path of least resistance, which is accepting what is, dropping expectations, and having the utmost faith and trust and surrender to the universe. And then life becomes consistently easy once you learn. It is a process. You do have to practice it. The practice, spiritual practice.
And that's exactly how you align with the universe. The universe is what is.
Yeah.
I guess if you're going to align with what is, you have to accept what is. If somebody cuts you off in traffic, you can resist it. That's not supposed to happen. Gosh darn it. That person cut me off. Well, that's the universe. That person is part of the universe. And I mean, it happened for a reason. And by the way, here's another thing, side note about stuff like that. Nobody can make you feel anything, guys. You're in control of your feelings. You can choose to not get pissed off about it. Let's say someone stabs you in the back at work, at your job. You don't have to put up with that. You should go talk to your boss about it. But why you got to let it ruin your day? And also, maybe that's just an opportunity for you to grow. The universe brought you that too. There's a reason for it. Maybe it's so that you can learn how to stand up for yourself.
Maybe they're helping that you know, purge some people out of your life, so at a later time they don't like do something even more damaging than saying a few words behind your back. Universe is doing you a favor by letting them do little thing, so it doesn't escalate into something bigger. I mean, there's a million ways to perceive things. Pick apart. How can I look at this differently?
Pick the path of least resistance, like you. And again, you can set goals and work towards them, but always accepting what is. Always accepting. And this whole philosophy is in alignment with the topic of talking to your spirit guides, because you're aligning with them. Talking to God, you're aligning with it. You have to trust the messages that you're getting. And that person saying those things about you behind your back is a message from the universe. Everything.
Yes.
Everything is. You're not separate from the universe.
Don't brush anything off. Take everything as a sign and look at it and examine it and be like, what is this trying to say to me? What is this trying to tell me? How can this move forward into a place that is to my highest good, is for my highest good, is for the highest good of everybody around me? Because when I'm my best person, I am the best, you know, co-worker, I'm the best parent, I am the best spouse, I am the best whatever. When I'm my best self, that is why you're always number one on the priority list.
We're the best YouTubers.
I'm saying.
Hey man, I could talk to you all day, but I think we've said everything that needs to be said. As always, you guys should watch this video again.
Do it.
So much, there's so much wisdom that we're sharing with you, and I want everybody to be on the same level. I don't want to have power over people. I want to have power with. I think that's more powerful.
I don't want people to have to come to me for advice anymore. I want to show people how to go within, so they don't have to come to me. They can reach for all those answers themselves and tap in to their spirit guides and really form a relationship with them, so they don't even need me. They don't even need anything. You know what I mean? That's my
whole thing. Like, and I think it would be appropriate if we both signed off with maybe explaining what we do a little bit to people, and even encouraging people to reach out to us. But here's the thing, guys. We're not going to keep you on training wheels forever. We want to empower you. Yeah, I want you to talk to me and let me be your teacher, but the whole object is for you to get to my level. So yeah, you should go to my website. You should go to her website, whichever one of us you resonate with better. Do that. All we're going to do is empower you.
Yeah. And the thing of it is, it's like, and what Kurt's saying is not like a hierarchical thing. We're all one. Like we all tap into this in any given moment. It is not like that. Just so no one gets that confused, because I don't want any like crazy comments like, oh, gets my level type of thing. It's not that. That's not what he's trying to say. What he's trying to say is like everything he's telling you, you have that in yourself right now. Tap into
right now.
Yes.
You already have that. You just got to peel away the layers of the onion.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just got to get rid of that conditioning. That's all it is. And I want everybody to live the most amazing, delicious, fruitful, adventurous life in the way that they like the best. I think everybody has that potential. Why waste it?
Yeah.
Why waste it? Everybody has that potential within them. They just need to align with that. They need to let go of those old patterns and belief systems. That's all. That's all. It's easy. It's easy. You guys won't believe how easy it is. It's so easy when I tell it to people, they keep asking the same question again and again and again. And
like, what's
that's perfect. That's perfect, because I think what it is, Kelsey, is people just need to hear it over and over and over again until it sticks.
Repetition becomes, what is it? Even when you becomes a habit. So once you do something for like 30 days, it becomes a habit. It's the same concept. Once you keep hearing the same thing over and over again, it'll become a belief.
Yep.
And then you'll start believing in yourself and your spirit guides and everything else, and it'll come into experience. We're
up here going, you're free, you're free, you're free. Maybe if we just keep telling people that they're already free long enough, they're going to realize it.
Exactly.
So check us out, guys. You can find me on YouTube, New World All-Star Twin Flame. There's also my website, twinflameallstar.com. You can start talking to me right away. You can sign up right there on my website. You can just have a one-off coaching session with me. It doesn't even have to be just twin flames. Or we can talk about twin flames. Or just reach out if you want to talk to me first to find out what you think, what would be best for you, what service would be best for you. twinflameallstar1111@gmail.com. And then you, Kelsey.
Yeah, all my information about my services and everything is on my website, kelseyfranks.com, and Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Just look up Kelsey Franks and you'll find me quick.
Mwah! You guys are beautiful. See you guys next time.